Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Tori Live, and I want to welcome you back to a little series that I like to call From the Heart Place. So, if this is your very first time visiting my channel, I want to welcome you in, and I also want to go ahead and suggest that you go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell because you want to stay up on all of the notifications that will be coming through when they come through. Don't be late to the party. Hit subscribe, become a vocalist. That's what I call all of my subscribers. And yeah, get into it. So, you guys, welcome back to night 3. It's night 3 of the From the Heart Place series with me. I am very blessed to be able to share a little piece of my journey. Very, very blessed to have lived through so many things, right? And be able to tell the story about it. Depression is real. Depression takes us away from being able to tell our story, right? And with it being September, shout out to Nikki D, the poet. Nikki D, the poet, I was looking at some of her stuff, and she reminded me that September is actually National Suicide Awareness Month. And I was really sitting with that and thinking to myself, depression really takes a lot of us away from this opportunity to sit down and talk about our story, right? We get so wrapped up, this is the From the Hard Place series, right? So sometimes we get into our hard places and we get stuck there. We get stuck in that hard place and we never fully recuperate. We never recover. We never come out of that. And unfortunately, we fall into depression. We fall into anxiety. We fall into self-loathing. We become victims of our trauma, whatever that may look like for you. And a lot of us never get the chance to tell the story because suicide comes into play. So for those of us who you may be watching this video right now and your hard place may be that hard that you're thinking that taking yourself out is the only way to get away from it, I'm just here to remind you that that's not it. That's not the only way. There are people that love you. There are people that care about you. There are people who are advocating for you, who are praying for you, who are willing to talk to you, who want to be there to help you get through your hard place so that you too can be able to share your voice. And essentially, that's why I call all my subscribers vocalists, because I truly believe everybody has a voice, everybody has a story. It's just for us to find the courage and the strength to tell it. So, I thank God for real, for the ability to, no matter what challenges I've faced in my life, God still gives me grace enough to continue to live through it and keep on going. And not only to live through it, but to, allow myself to become a vessel and a beacon of light to share some things that I've been through so that it can encourage somebody else. So that's why we have the From the Hard Place series. We'll be doing this for the next few nights. For those of y'all who didn't catch part 1 and 2, we're going to do this all the way up until the 21st, the 21st of September, because this was planned to be a 7-day series. And I just want to thank everybody who will watch this. Definitely make sure you share. Again, cannot stress it enough. If you've gotten this far into the intro, go on and hit subscribe. Go on and hit the bell. Become a vocalist today. So we're going to go straight into it. You guys, I want to do like a very soft recap and then slide, into what we're talking about. So in part 2 of the From the Hard Place series, I talked about speech. If you see me looking down, your girl got her notes. So I talked about speech and how important it is to speak from a hard place, okay? That is one of the most detrimental things that you could do in terms of your own healing and in terms of the healing of somebody else. Now, first, we want to worry about our own healing because I take a lot of flights, okay? Anybody else take a lot of flights? I do. And when you get on the plane and they're talking about all the things that can go wrong, which really freaks me out, y'all. Like, has anybody felt that way? You get on the plane and we about to get up in the air, okay? And y'all talking about what happens if this thing go down. Don't tell me that. Don't. Anyway, I'm on my own tangent. Like, that freaks me out. Don't do that. Why y'all doing that now? Why are we talking about this now? Anyway, when we get on an airplane and our flight attendants and the pilots, they begin to talk about all the things that can go wrong, where the exits are and all that, they talk about an oxygen mask, right? And when that oxygen mask comes down, they say even if you sit next to a child, your child, the baby that you birthed out 9 months, and you push this baby out, you sitting right next to your baby, they say put your life mask on first, or put your jacket on first, put your stuff on first. Why? Because even though you love that baby, you love that child, you have to save yourself before you save them. Because if you're trying to put their gear on and then you lose oxygen, you pass out. Now they passed out. Now y'all both dead. So I'm a strong believer in saving yourself first, right? So yes, speaking from your hard place is detrimental to your own survival and the survival of others. But like I said, first your own. You have to first solve your own problems, solve your own issues, get through this thing, in one piece for yourself. That way you could be able to go back and help somebody. Harriet Tubman had to get to freedom first before she can go back and help people. If she would have brought somebody with her on that first trip, she might not have made it. She had to go find it for herself and then come back and let other people know. So speaking from the hard place is very, very difficult, but it's very, very important. It's very imperative that we do it, because if nobody comes back to tell the story, if nobody comes back to talk about how I got over, how will everybody else know how they can get over? Like, for real, So I talked about how important speech is, how important your words are, how important, affirmations and vision boards and things of that nature are. And I also spoke about when I talk to people and I encourage people to write down their goals, their dreams, and, just affirmations to themselves. I tell them, don't just look at it. Don't just put it on a vision board, even though they can be real cute and real aesthetically pleasing in our rooms and stuff. They work, but at the same time, while you're looking at that and while you're looking at your notepad with everything written and you're reading it in your head, no. Read it out loud. Read it out loud, because what we speak out of our mouth becomes essentially what manifests in our atmosphere. If you're speaking 6 figures, you're manifesting that. If you're speaking a healthy relationship, you're manifesting that. If you're speaking a tighter relationship with God, you're manifesting that. If you're speaking a healthy household, good car, a great job, you're manifesting that. So you got to speak it. If you don't speak it, it's kind of like, and I love this analogy, I use it all the time. It's like if you're getting chased down by somebody, and the cops are right there, and you don't scream out, it can, perception is a funny thing. It can almost look as if the person is playing with you or you're playing with the person, and people outside of y'all may not take it that serious, that, hey, he's trying to snatch my purse, but it might look as if, y'all playing. I know that sounds crazy, but until you open your mouth and you scream help, until you open your mouth and you say something, how people, you in your head screaming, help me, somebody help. Who's going to hear that if it's only in here? You got to verbalize, you have to speak. You cannot get the help you need. They say closed mouths don't get fed. So if you're not opening your mouth, if you're not speaking it out. So with that being said, I talked about all of those things. I also talked about the, don't speak complaints. It's real easy. Okay, I was a product of that complaint thing. Everything was a complaint. Everything was a woo woo woo, woe is me, woo woo, cry with me. But we have to stop. It's okay to vent. It's okay to get it out. But then it's kind of like a baby. At some point, the baby has to learn how to self-soothe, and that's us. We have to get to a place where we say what we need to say, but we don't live in a world of complaint. I also talked about changing, and this is really where I want to stick a pin, and I want to continue this conversation about speech, because the Word of God is powerful, okay? The Word of God is powerful. That is where we get our strength. That is where we get the answers that we're looking for. And I put in my notes and I spoke in part 2 about how we have to change our words to his words. Very, very, very easy for us to speak the wrong words. Very, very easy, right? See, the thing about it is, God's word is like science. Our words are opinions. So if God's word is law, it's fact, it's been proven, but our words, we're human. Our words change. You could be speaking so good about yourself. You could be speaking every day that, let's just pick one. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And you get to day 5 of the week, and then somebody be like, oh, come to go on vacation with me, or come to lunch with me, or can I hold this? And then you mess up that one time. Can't, I'm broke. You kind of like wiped out everything you were saying all week about I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, because now you spoke being broke. So, our words change, just like our belief, just like our faith. Again, I am the poster child for your belief dropping, which is really what landed us in For the Hard Place series. From the Hard Place series, me falling off. You know what I'm saying? Like, our faith in God shifts sometimes because hard times come, things happen, and sometimes we really do get a little caught up. But, we have to be so trusting in him that we jump back on. But like I said, our faith can shift. God is concrete. He's not moving. He's not changing. His word will be the same. He's not going nowhere. It's us that we get a little shifty. We start moving around. Like missing teeth. We start moving around, okay? So, let me just pick up from where my notes begin, guys. I said in my notes that a hard place is any place where your spirit struggles. So, a hard place could literally be anything for anybody. Some people, they don't have an issue with drinking. They can casually drink and it's all gravy, have a little daiquiri, have a little, alcoholic frozen lemonade or something like that. Okay, cool, you gravy. But other people, that may not be their grace. Some people may truly struggle because maybe they had an addiction, or maybe alcoholism runs heavy in their family. So they can't really parlay with you with a couple drinks or with a glass of wine. They don't, some people, they can hear certain music and they're fine. They could be, right next to the club and they're fine. But then there are other people who that's not their grace. They can't mess with that because maybe that was a struggle of theirs. Maybe they were addicted to gambling. They were addicted to the strip club. They were addicted to, whatever it was that was their own personal stumbling block. Like, everybody has a different situation, which is why I was talking about in the very first video, everybody's hard place looks different. Everybody has a different struggle. Everybody's spirit is wired differently, and God works with us in different ways because we're all his children, but we're all unique. We all have our own strength and our own weaknesses. So, I want to talk about the decree. I'm going to talk about my own personal decree. See, I got mad at God. Now, if y'all remember the little short story, the synopsis I was dropping for you guys in the second video, I talked about how I hit a hard place and my faith began to just dwindle. I just was like, you know what? God, I'm not doing this no more. Nope. God, I'm on strike. God, I'm tired. I've been doing right by you, going hard out here, not doing, what I used to do, and this is what I get. Bet I'm gonna do me. That was my decree. That was what I said out of my mouth, which is why we gotta be ever so careful of our words. I literally said, God, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of serving you. I'm tired of looking like a fool because every time what I want, it just never comes. And then I'm still supposed to serve you. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why is this road so hard? So that was my rebellious decree. And what I got from that, when I began to chill out and say, you know what, God, I'm tripping, because this is very selfish. This is very self-centered. This is very ungrateful, because God, you've done so much for me already. Like, you blessed me so much already. Like, literally, the life that I live today, I could not make this up. One day we'll talk about it, but I could not make this up. Everything ain't perfect, no, but God has blessed me so much. It's very selfish. I really had to check myself and look back yo, I'm really tripping, because I asked God to give me a good job. God has given me a great job. I asked God to bless me with, adequate housing and a great place, a healthy environment. God has done that. I asked God for a great church, and He's done that. I asked God for a great relationship, with my family and my parents. He's done that. So just because one thing didn't come through, and I'm not even going to say it didn't come through, maybe it just didn't come through yet. Our time, God's time, two totally different situations. What God has in store for you is going to be there. It's always going to be there. He's going to bring it to pass. His promise. Like I said earlier, His word is true. His word is law. His word is fact. So you can bet on that. It's going to come through. It just may not come through when you want it. And that leaves us as humans, fleshly humans, to feel as though He failed us or He's not coming through. It just didn't happen yet. So I had this decree, this foolish decree that, you know what, I'm just going to do me. I don't really care about that God. And the realization I had to come to after that was all said and done, after I had texted my pastor and told him, you know what, I'm tired. Don't look for me. Don't look for me in the congregation. Don't look for me on praise and worship. I'm not doing it. I didn't even have the conversation with my pastor as to what was even going on. I just said, yeah, whatever. I mean, for real, I was serious about this thing. I was like, God, I'm over it. Until you bless me, I'm over it. I gotta be one of God's most difficult children, y'all. Anyway, the conclusion that I came to after I made this foolish decree is that life will offer us. I wrote this down because this was good. This was good. Life will offer us hard places, but we make those places harder when we turn away from God. Follow me one more time, people. Life will offer us hard places, but we make those places harder when we turn away from God. I say offer because, people say life gives you a rough hand. I personally believe life offers you a hard hand. It's like if I give you this right here, if I give you this hand sanitizer, you can take it or you can choose to pass it up and say, I got one already. Life can give you a lot of things, but it's up to what we take it as. So that's why I said life will offer, because when I originally started writing the sentence, I said life will give us, or life will bring us to hard places. But no, life can only offer you. It's what you choose to take. It's what you accept. So life will offer you hard places, rough times, financial woes, situations that you feel like you can't get out of. It will offer you all of that. It will offer you a hard hand. But we make these things harder. Now, some things it's going to befall you, because life is not no bed of roses. It's not always easy. Some things we cannot escape. Some things we can't be like, oh, I got that already. No, you're going to take it anyway. It is what it is. That's life. But we make those situations more and more difficult when we turn away from God. When we decide we want to just do our own thing, go in our own way, like me with my foolish decree. God, I'm over it. I'm going to strike. I don't care what you say. Like, when we make that decree that I'm going to just do me, I'm telling you, in the time of trouble, He shall hide me. Okay? In the time of trouble, this is something I heard since I was a child. And this is something I went on to later read, as you can see in Psalms 9, verse 9, right? In the time of trouble, He shall hide me, right? Literally, it says, the Lord also will be a refuge to the oppressed, a refuge in the time of trouble. So what that means is that in the time of trouble, when things happen, when things go left, when I don't get the job opportunity that I wanted so bad, and the interview went so good, and I really felt like I had it, but I didn't get the job, right? when I put all my eggs in one basket and I believed that this man loved me and I was so close and I felt like we were going to get married, but it didn't happen. When I had all my money together, everything was good. I was straight, and then boom, my car gets stolen. Like in those times, in those rough patches, in those hard moments, he's a refuge in the time of trouble. He is a refuge for the oppressed. We be feeling oppressed sometimes, okay? Because I've been feeling depressed, but God is our refuge. He got us. He got you. So when we pull ourselves away, like me, when I was like, well, I'm gonna do it myself, I don't care, whatever, woo, 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 you are pulling yourself away from your refuge. You're moving yourself away from the rock that's higher than you, right? I got more notes, y'all. I got more notes. We run from our refuge and become open to the enemy and more attacks. For real, like if you think it's a hard place now, imagine moving yourself away from your refuge, moving yourself away from a place of shelter. It's like, okay, if like a hurricane or something happens outside and I run out of my house outside, I literally open myself up to anything that could possibly happen, because at least inside the building, I'm protected from the elements. But when I go outside, knowing that it's a blizzard, knowing that it's a hurricane, knowing it's a tornado rolling through, a tornado could take a whole car, pick it up, and that junk could hit me. Like a tree could fall on me. Like some wind, some rain, something could just sweep me up. You know what I'm saying? When I come out of my refuge place, it may feel crazy to stay in your refuge place. You're scared. You want to run, but if you go outside and you run, you literally are opening yourself up to more elements. Like it's real out there. And you going out there, like me, with my decree, right? I don't care. I'm doing it on my own. Suppose God would have been like, okay, do it on your own. Imagine if he would take his hand off of us, if he would move away from us the way that we move away from him. We literally, that's called self-sabotage. Because God is our refuge and our strength. He's the one who is able to guide us when these hard times hit, when things are happening, when it's getting real. He's the one who's able to hold us down, keep us together, maintain us, even when we feel like we're falling apart. Like he's a maintainer. So when we move from that, we're literally self-sabotaging ourselves, and we make our process longer than what it needs to be. God may have the solution for you, and he may be like willing to give it to you next week. But when we move away from our place of refuge and we think we can do it on our own, what would have taken a week, now we done made it a year-long process, and we suffer longer. And some of us don't even make it through the suffrage. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be so careful of what we're decreeing. Don't be quick to say, oh God, I'm gonna do it on my own. Because I've been saying that. I've been saying that for a long time. And God never lets me do it on my own. I'll be like, God, I'm gonna do it on my own. And he just never seems to let me do it on my own. He lets me go but so far, and then he yanks me back. And I can't imagine what my life would be like if God would just let me do what I wanted to do, and for real, just let me one day just be like, I'm gonna do it on my own. And he'd be like, you know what? Okay. I would die. I would literally die, because I make some of the worst choices on my own when I move away from God. And that's why can't nobody tell me that he's not real. Can't nobody tell me that I'm out here just freestyling. It's no way. So be careful of the decrees that you put out there. It's easy to give up. Can't stress that enough. It's mad easy to just give up and walk away and say, I'm gonna do it on my own. But don't take your hand from the plow, no matter how hard the place. Like there's a part in the Bible that talks about, like not taking your hand from the plow, because what the plow is, what a actual plow is, a plow. Okay, think about like a lawnmower. That's pretty much what like a plow is. You're plowing through the fields. You're like doing like field work, like getting the the field clear for a harvest. You're plowing through, right? So when we put our hands to the plow in God's field, in his vineyard, that means that we're ready to do work. We're ready to go in. We're ready to work for God. But when we take our hand from the plow, we keep putting it there, taking it back, putting it there, taking it back. You are literally prolonging your situation, prolonging your struggle. And we want to be seen as trustworthy before God. How could God bless you? How could he give you anything if you are not found trustworthy? How we praying for stuff and we asking God to help us get out of these hard places. But sometimes God allows us to stay in hard places because if I take you out of the hard place and I bless you like I want to, you will curse me. You will do it you will think that you did it on your own, and you just so sometimes the hard places actually keep us closer to God. And that's why he won't move them right now, because he can't trust you to otherwise serve him, otherwise love him, otherwise pray, unless there's a struggle happening. And it's very sad. But we want to graduate from that. We don't want to have to be oppressed, because that's not the kind of God that I serve, who presses us down and keeps us, he don't got his arm, he don't got us in a chokehold. He doesn't want to have you in a chokehold in order for you to love him and serve him. That's why he offers free will to us, so that we can love him and serve him freely, not because, I really need your help, so I'm gonna, So let me just put y'all on game to the number one rule to a healthy speech life. Y'all may think that I've derailed from the topic, but I have not, because literally everything that I just said has to do with what I spoke out of my mouth, with my decree, right? We want to be aware and be careful of what we're decreeing over ourselves. We want to be mindful, right, of taking ourselves away from the hedge of protection. Because our words, right? Boom. Our words can take us away from the hedge of protection. Our words, the verbal contracts that we make when we speak, can take us away from the place that God wants to bless us. And taking your hand from the plow is literally as simple as what I did when I was like, I'm not going to do this because that's taking my spiritual hands off the plow. But the number one rule to a healthy speech life is to hear a voice louder than our own. Because I could tell you all day, and affirmation coaches and life coaches, they will tell you all day. Well, I'll tell you that your words are powerful. Speaking life into your situations is so powerful and all that stuff. But at the same time, like I said, we are human and we tend to be a little shifty sometimes. So our words are powerful, but I can say that our words don't have the final power. Our words don't have the final say. We have to hear voices louder than our own, because when my voice fails, I'm not always as confident. Y'all looking at me, y'all think, oh, Tori Live. I'm not always Tori Live for Tori. I might be Tori Live for all y'all, but sometimes in my darkest times, in my coldest, my loneliest moments, I'm not able all the time to be Tori Live for me. You know what I'm saying? But when I can't find a voice from myself, I have to hear a voice louder than my own words, because sometimes my words will lead me down a path of destruction. Sometimes my words will push me deeper into depression. Sometimes my words will cause me to make the wrong choices, the wrong decisions. But the words of the voice louder than my own will only propel me into greater, will only push me closer to God, will only take me away from my own reprobate mind. Only his words can do something like that. So we have to really trust God and listen for that voice. Listen to that voice that's bigger than your own. I promise you, God will not steer you wrong. He may take you down some roads that, they seem a little questionable. It's a little scary over here, but just trust that God is walking with you. And if he takes you down a dark road, just understand he'll never take you down a road darker than a road that he's already gone. And he's already gone before you. So he already knows what's down there. It's okay. He's with you and he's before you. So, we have to hear a voice bigger than us. That's bigger than us, y'all. So one thing I want to talk to y'all real quick, and this is going to be my last speaking point for tonight, for part 3. Again, before I even go into this last point, if you have made it this far into the video, there is no reason why you're not a vocalist yet. Go on and hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell, because notifications are everything, and YouTube sometimes be messing up the algorithm. So you want to make sure that you're getting it when it comes through. Hit that bell, y'all. Don't miss nothing. So the enemy will try to shift us away from speaking, right? Because now that we finally found strength, we finally got underneath the refuge of God, we finally are hearing from a voice bigger than our own, and we're ready to speak, right? This takes me all the way back to where I started at in the video, when I talked about people sometimes getting into a hard place, and we get into depression, we get into suicidal thoughts, we get into just this deep sadness about like, woe is me, like why, the enemy will use those type of things to distract you and move you away from speaking your truth, speaking what God says speak, speaking positivity into your situation, and even speaking like me, like talking about my own experiences. I was going back over some of my content, like I watch my videos, like after I finish them, I go back maybe like a day later, and I will go back and I watch them sometimes, and I was feeling like uncomfortable a little bit about being so transparent and being so real in some of my videos. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, man, maybe I said too much. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, because sometimes when we talk about our downfalls and we talk about where we went wrong, it feels uncomfortable. It feels bad. It feels like, hey, people gonna judge me. What they gonna think about me? But that's the enemy getting in your mind, and he'll try to shift you with shame and convince you not to speak out of like fear and guilt and shame and what will people think of me, and all these different tactics to try to shut you up. But speak anyway. Speak anyway. Speak to yourself. Speak to your situation. Speak positive, even when everything around you looks negative. And then once you find the courage, once you find the strength, once you pull yourself up out of it, then go speak that word to somebody else. Go tell somebody, hey, look, I see you're going through this, but guess what? 2 years ago, it was me. Guess what? 3 months ago, it was me. Guess what? Yesterday, I was just depressed. Talk your talk, because that's one thing that the enemy can't take away from you. Your speech, what you speak out of your mouth. He can play mind tricks with you, but what you choose to speak out of your mind, what you choose to speak out of your mouth, he can't hold that. He can try with fear tactics, with depression, with, oh, what are people going to think of me? But you have the ultimate power to speak, and especially knowing that there's a God that goes before us and covers us. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. So yeah, your speech and you encouraging somebody else with your story may make the enemy mad. It may make him want to retaliate and try to throw more darts at you. But just know that there's a God that covers you, and you're going to be okay no matter what, because God has the final say for real. So, yeah, this is my very, 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 very last thing. I know I said that, but yeah, this is my very last thing. See, what I want you to understand, and I talked about this yesterday in part 2. There is a God, there's a part of God inside of you. See, in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God was the Word. And He spoke. There was darkness, there was nothing, and He was like, let there be light. And then, out of nowhere, there was light. And if God has all that power to create life and organisms and human beings and plants and all of this stuff, and us, with our complicated self, He created us with His words. Then if there be a part of God in you, what makes you think that your words are not powerful? What makes you believe the lies of the enemy that tell you that your words are meaningless, right? How dare you believe that lie? No, your words hold a God weight. So you have to be ever so careful, like we talked about earlier about like the decrees. Be ever so careful with what you choose to say out of your mouth, because that's going to affect what you believe. That's going to affect what you choose, and that's going to affect if you even start. And those are other points that we're going to get into later on into the series, like in part 4, part 5, part 6, all that. We're going to talk about how to speak, how to choose, how to believe, and how to start from the hard place. But like I said, there's a part of God in you. Your words hold a God weight. You can't just say anything. You can't just say anything. Your words hold a God weight. So let me just leave you with these thoughts to ponder. So do your words before you get ready to speak. Ask yourself, do my words bless or curse my future? Before you get ready to speak, ask yourself, are you bringing life to the situation? Are you stagnant because of what you're saying? So, one more time. You don't gotta answer this right now, but if you so choose to, you can definitely drop in the comments if you're comfortable with that. After you subscribe, of course. Ask yourself before we begin to speak. Every time before we begin to speak a thing, do my words bless or curse my future? Do my words bring life to my current situation? And am I stagnant because of what I'm saying? So that's all I have to bring to you guys tonight. This video was actually a little longer than what I expected, but it was definitely packed with a lot of good stuff, a lot of good thought, and I loved it. I loved it, and I hope that somebody is really blessed by everything that I dropped tonight. I'm really praying for you guys that y'all don't let y'all word life get caught up in any lies and confusion that the enemy throws at you. Just understand that you have power, and it literally lies in your tongue. Life or death is in your tongue, so be careful of your decrees. Make sure you guys are speaking positive through your heart place. You got to speak from your heart place. So that is all for tonight, and join me again for part 4 of the From the Heart Place series. Cannot wait. You guys, thank you so much for everything. Definitely, I will not stop saying it. So you might as well just go on and hit the subscribe button. Become a vocalist today. Make sure you hit the bell, because notifications, I want you to catch all of them. Y'all, this has been your girl Tori Live with another episode, and I'm really hoping that y'all definitely love, like, and share all of this content so that we can continue to empower and inspire more and more people. You guys, be easy. Peace.